Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're having a great day so far. Happy Friday. Just a reminder that at the end of this week, so after you finish your work today, pick 2 activities that you've done from each subject to send to me or Mr. Overton so that we can give you feedback on that, mark that you've turned work in, and get your name in the drawing for next week's KFC meal. Unfortunately, no one from our class won this week, but there's always next week we can hope to have one of our students win. So that's 2 things from reading, 2 from writing, 2 from math, and 2 from content. And we will get back to you with feedback as soon as we can. So today is day 5 of packet 5. So to get started, let's go look where it says day 5. The first activity we have to do, it says reference material. Write the alphabet across the top of your paper. Using the alphabet you wrote, put the following words in ABC order using the first letter. So you're going to write the alphabet across the top of your paper, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, all the way to Z. And then the words that you need to put in ABC order are crust, plain, short, twist, seam, and fact. And remember, when we are putting words in ABC order, the first thing we do is we look at that first letter. Now, I see 2 letters that have the same first letter. So if I get to S, and I have 2 that start with S, then I go to the next letter, and I'll say the alphabet again, and whichever one I hit first, E or H, will tell me which one comes first. So you have the alphabet across the top. We start by looking at these first letters, and we say our alphabet. A. If it helps you remember where you are, after you look for the A's, you can cross it out. Then we're looking for B. Nope, I don't see that, but you should have the whole alphabet written at the top. You should have the whole thing written at the top. Now let's look for B. Oh, I don't see any B's. C. I found one, so crust comes first when I'm going in ABC order. Then I look for D. Nope, I don't see any letters that start with D. E. And you go on doing the same thing. Remember, I said when you get to the S, they have the same first letter. So how do you know which one goes first? You go to the second letter then. And you'll say your alphabet again to figure out which one you get to first, the E or the H. If you get to the E first, then you will write seam and then short. If you get to the H before the E, you'll write short and then seam. After you figure out which one of these comes first, you can cross out your S and go on to T and look for a first letter with T. So that's how we're putting those in ABC order. You do have a 3-minute video on how to alphabetize words that can help if you need it. There is a link for that right here in your packet next to day 5. If you click it, it takes you to a YouTube video with a lesson on alphabetizing.
Have you ever wondered why we alphabetize words? Let's think about it. Here are all 26 of the letters of the alphabet in alphabetical order. Can you find the A? Easily, right? How about a harder one, like S? Still pretty easy to find, isn't it? How about M? Yep, right where it should be, between L and N. Okay, now let's scramble them up in order of my favorite letter to least favorite letter. Now find the M. Takes a little longer. Okay, how about an easy one like the A? Still kind of hard, especially when you don't know that A is my 20th favorite letter, right after Q and before X. When they're in order, especially in order that everyone knows, they're easiest to find. The same goes for words. And when you're putting whole words in order, and not just letters, you just have to take it one letter at a time. Let's try it. Just line your words up so you can see the first letter of each word in one column. And we'll start at the beginning. See any A words? Oh, there's one, ape. Let's put it up here. Our first word. Okay, how about B words? Nope. C words? Oh, yes, cup. So we'll put that here. Our second word. Okay. Uh-oh, another C word. It's okay, no problem. Don't panic. Now we just have to look at the second letter. Let's line these up. C is the same, so we ignore that letter and look at the second letter. A and U. A comes first. So car is actually our second word and cup is our third word. Okay. Next are D words. Oh, look, we have two again. We know what to do. So we'll ignore the first letter and, oh, the second letter is the same too. No problem. We'll just ignore the second letter too and try the third letter. G and T. G comes first in the alphabet, so that's our next word. Dog goes here, then dot goes right behind it. I'll bet you know what to do when the third, fourth, or fifth letters are the same now too. Okay, just one word left, and its first letter is H, and H comes after D, so it goes last, right here. And now you know the hows and whys, so all of your words can be alphabetized.
Awesome. So that was a great little video to further explain how to alphabetize words. So that's your first activity. Put those words in ABC order. The next thing that we have to do, it says read one of the following decodable stories to a family member, pet, or stuffed animal. So there are 3 different choices. There's a decodable book called Fun at the Pond, one called Do Not, and one called Sunset Pond. And if you choose Sunset Pond, there's just a little note at the bottom that says you need to know the word down to read Sunset Pond. So let's scroll down just so you can look at your options. So you can either read Fun at the Pond, which is right here. Do Not, which is right here. Or Sunset Pond, which is right here. So I'm not going to read it for you because you have to pick which one you want to read. So you're either picking to read Sunset Pond, Do Not, or Fun at the Pond. Okay, choose one of those and read it to a family member, pet, or stuffed animal. That's our reading activity for today. You're just going to read that. For math, it says have your daily calendar talk, which, as we know, we've gone over this all week, is this page. You should have May filled in, and you're going over your daily months of the year, days of the week, and practicing things like, if today is the 15th, what will it be on Sunday? just things to keep you fluent with calendar procedures. That means that you are familiar with them and you're able to answer those questions quickly. So those types of questions are great. You should just be talking and kind of studying the calendar to learn the most you can from it. So that's your daily calendar talk. Then it says practice counting. So today is all about making sure when we count, we aren't skipping numbers. So you need to think of the pattern of numbers. So when I say you need to think of the pattern of numbers, what I mean is, let me pull something up so I can show you. Okay. When I say you need to think of the pattern of numbers, what I mean is when we look at a hundreds chart, there's a pattern to it. All of the numbers in this column end in 0. All of the numbers in this column end in 1, end in 2, end in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0, like we said. There's a pattern to that. And the tens place, all it does is go up by 1 number each time you get to 10. So right now, this first line right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From 1 to 9, there's no number in the tens place. There's nothing in the tens place. So once I get to 10, the pattern becomes I have a 1 in the tens place. So now from 10 all the way to 19, I have a 1 in the tens place. Then when I get to 20, the pattern becomes I have a 2 in the tens place. So we go up by 1 number in the tens place every time. Look here, 10, then we have a 20. The tens place just goes up by 1 number. So your activity for today is really getting you practice with counting and getting familiar with the patterns that numbers make. So it says practice counting. Start counting forward at 11 and stop at 20. So what that means is just like it said, you're going to count forward and you're going to start at 11. And once you get to 20, stop. So 11, what comes next? And count to 20. When you get to 20, stop. The next one says, start counting forward at 30 and stop at 28. So for this one, you're starting at 11 and going to 20. The next one, you are starting at 30 and you are going to 48. So once you get to 48, stop. This is showing we should be able to pick a number, start counting from that number, and not have a problem counting on, because we should know the patterns of numbers. And I know that can be tricky sometimes, but that's why we're practicing. So for this one, you're starting at 30. Think about the pattern that numbers make. What comes after 30? Remember, in the ones place, we just keep doing that same pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we get a new group of 10. So think about what comes after 30. If I'm just adding 1 to the ones place. Then it says, start counting forward at 49 and stop at 65. So it's giving you a starting place and an ending place, and your job is to count on all those numbers in between. 49. I know that when I have a 9 in the ones place, that means the next number, I'm going to be adding a new group of 10, because I can never have 10 in the ones place. So after that, this one's different. It says start counting backwards at 9 and stop at 1. So you're starting at 9 and you're counting backwards to 1. So you're going from a bigger number to smaller numbers. So think about that. You're going from bigger numbers to smaller numbers. It's like you're taking away ones now. Start at 9, stop at 1. The last one says start counting backwards at 17 and stop at 5. That one will be tricky. But again, just think about the pattern. Think about the patterns that numbers make. Now what you're doing is you're taking away. The last one says start counting backwards at 17 and stop at 5. After you've practiced doing that, and you can practice doing that out loud by talking and writing it down, that would be great to have practice with both. That way you can practice forming your letters or numbers correctly too. I know sometimes some people have a tricky time flipping numbers. So by practicing writing it down too, you're also practicing forming the numbers correctly while also working with the patterns that numbers make. So after that, it says create your starting point number and stopping point number. Practice counting forward and backward without a mistake. So then it gives you the chance to create your own starting number and stopping number, and to practice counting forward and backwards without making a mistake. So after you've answered the ones that the packet gives you of counting forward and backwards, you get to create your own starting point and stopping point and practice counting forward and backward without a mistake. So take your time, because it says without a mistake. So that means we need to really think about what we're doing and don't just rush through it and say, oh, I know how to do this. Rush, 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 because that's how we make silly mistakes. After that, it says optional. So this means you can choose to do this, but you don't have to. Find a collection of things to count with a partner in your family. Arrange them in a way that would make it easier for you to count accurately. Record what you counted and how you counted them. So that's kind of like a bonus question. You don't have to do it, but you can. I'll read it one more time. Find a collection of things to count with a partner in your family. Arrange them in a way that would make it easier for you to count accurately. Record what you counted and how you counted them. So that's a kind of bonus activity that you can choose to do. Now we are at content. And content for today says, read food trucks. Think about a food truck that you would like to own. What service will you provide? What will you produce? Design a poster advertising your service, the food truck, and create a menu of the goods that you will offer. So I'm going to get us to the food trucks page so we can look at that together. Okay. So food trucks is right here. Okay, so we're going to start here. Food trucks are trucks where people make and sell food. Each food truck has a kitchen inside. See, it almost looks like an ice cream truck, but instead of selling ice cream, they're selling different kinds of foods. It's like a mini restaurant on a truck. Now we're right here. This food truck sells fish and chips. This food truck sells barbecue. This food truck sells chicken. This food truck sells pizza. This food truck sells Indian food. This food truck sells Japanese food. This food truck sells hot dogs. This food truck sells grilled cheese sandwiches. This food truck sells seafood. This food truck sells tacos. This food truck sells ribs. This food truck sells hamburgers. Food trucks go wherever there are crowds of people. The food can taste really good. So, a fun fact, Nosh, the food truck in these photos, a student at Dutro's family owns Nosh. So they have actually come to Dutro before, and the teachers have gotten to buy lunch from Nosh, and it's really, really yummy. It's a yummy, yummy food truck. And so one of the kids who I believe in this year was in 3rd grade, his family are the ones that own that food truck. So some of the questions at the end are, what are these consumers waiting for? What do you think they're standing waiting for? They're the consumers because they're the ones that are buying the item. Who is the producer? What is she producing? So the producer is the person that is selling the good or service. So who in this picture is the producer? The one that's offering a good or service for people to buy. What is she producing? So now let's go back. So after we've read food trucks, it says, think about a food truck that you would like to own. So remember that in the book, it gave lots of examples. Food trucks can have all different kinds of food. Think about the food that you would want to sell on your food truck. What service will you provide? So what service is it that you are providing? Remember, a service is an action. So what are you doing that people would want to buy? What will you produce? What are you making? What are you offering for people to buy? What are you selling? Design a poster advertising your service. So the food truck. You need to make a poster that tells all about your food truck and what you're producing and what service you're providing. Create a menu of the goods that you will offer. So you also need to create your own menu with the goods that you are selling. So think about what the good and what the service is with this. The goods are the actual food. So if your food truck is all about hamburgers, the good is the different types of burgers. The service is the people actually cooking the food. That's the action that they're doing. The service is that they are preparing and making your food. That's the service. The good is the actual food. So you're going to create a poster where you are telling about your food truck and what you are offering, what you're producing. Create a menu of the goods that you will offer. That's your assignment for content today. Make a poster, and I would love to see pictures of your food truck posters. That would be awesome. I want to know what kind of food truck you guys would have. So that's your final activity for today, making your poster where you are describing what you are offering, what you are producing, and you're creating a menu of the goods that you will offer. After you've done that, you're done with today's activities. Remember to send Mr. Overton and I 2 of the activities from each subject, 2 from reading, writing, math, and content. And then we will be sure to mark that you've turned it in, provide feedback on your work, and get you in that drawing for next week for the KFC family meal. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know. Students, I love you and I miss you, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.